Measuring your productivity. If you're not improving yourself or your life in some way, then you are reducing your tomorrows. Let's see how we can change that. If you're not improving yourself or your life in some way, then you are waiting for a disaster to happen that will bring you down. Even stable means no growth. No growth means waiting for mishap or disaster to reduce your life or living in some way. But how can you measure your productivity? How do you know if you're doing better, worse, or staying the same? Ideally, you need to get some sort of measurement system on measuring how productive you are. How much are you getting done? More importantly, how many targets are you making or not making? Ideally, you need to have some sort of living dashboard, a way to measure your driving force or your action, a way to measure if you are doing enough, not enough, or too much, almost like a stress gauge. Here are some measurement definitions to go over. Number 1, dashboard. 2, condition. That's the condition of person regarding his or her production. 3, action gauge. 4, target gauge. 5, to-do list gauge. And 6, condition gauge. Let us go over the 6 definitions, then we'll show you the actual gauges in action. What is a dashboard? It is an information management tool that receives data from a linked database or similar to provide data visualizations. It typically offers high-level information in one view that the end users can use to answer a single question, namely, how is the system or person performing? Condition. What do we mean by condition? A condition is a state of something. It could be in a normal running state, a poor state, or a very good state. This is the fastest way to see if something is running well or not. By checking the state, you immediately know if attention is needed or not. Here's our action gauge. The action gauge tells you if you are applying yourself enough to your actions in your daily to-do list. It is highly subjective. That means that it is how you feel, how stressed or rushed you feel. It is a way to keep your mind under control and not allow yourself to be too slack or to be too overworked. Ideally, to be optimal, you need to be running just above normal. The target gauge. A target gauge is an indicator that shows you how many tasks are in a target. It shows you how many tasks you need to complete before the target is done. Example, if you have created a target to clean and arrange the bookshelf and you have broken this target into 6 tasks, then it means that when all 6 tasks are completed, then the bookshelf is done. You would see the target gauge as 0, 6 before any tasks are started. Then, when 3 tasks were completed, it would show 3, 6. Finally, after all tasks are completed, then you would see 6, 6. It is very simple, but that is what an indicator should be, easy to interpret. The to-do list gauge. The to-do list gauge will show you how many tasks you have completed on a day. Example, if I completed 10 tasks yesterday, then my to-do list gauge would show 10. The condition gauge. The condition gauge just shows a word such as normal, abundance, mastery, unstable, or crisis. By observing this single word, you then know what condition or state a person is in. Why a dashboard? It is visual and in your face, so you get to see when any corrections are required. You are reminded about your success or lack of success. In other words, your current state or condition, and therefore you then know what you need to do about it. You can measure your action level and your consideration towards your action level. Should you increase, maintain, or can you decrease your action level? Based on your action level and your consideration, you are then able to load or deload your to-do list or refocus elsewhere. You can see if you are making your targets or not, and therefore apply control over your action. Your action level is very important because you need to stay in action to be successful. You get to keep your eye on the optimal level. Not too slow because that is really boring and depressing. Not too high because that makes you feel overwhelmed. Just on the edge of overwhelm, just before overwhelm, because that is the most efficient and dopamine producing area. The target gauge is important because it is ultimately what you are driving. Not to make action or to-do list task gauges a less of a priority, but the target gauge is what shows you if you are successful or not. You cannot show a valuable product from a single small task or from your action gauge, but you can see if you are making your targets at the right rate by using the target gauge. A note on overwhelm. When you feel overwhelmed, it is because you have too many things coming at you and you are not able to process them. In many cases, it is due to an unexpected event that has appeared out of the blue and crashed your day. When this happens, you need to recognize that this is how things can go on occasion, and it is at this point that your managing skills are critical in being top-notch so as to handle this current situation. It could be that you have to put off your current daily to-do list or slow it down, but this should not be your first option. See if you can handle the unexpected event. If not, then accommodate the incident however best you feel will manage it. You do need to keep yourself out of the red from overload and overwhelm. What can get you into overwhelm when you don't expect it to? Being hungry or not having enough sleep? These are just a few things that should not normally occur. Recognize that it is you that caused the lack of sleep or not feeding yourself correctly or at the right time. This is where responsibility comes in. Watch the video on responsibility. Example of using these gauges. Here is Jane. She has an action gauge. She has a condition indicator. She has a target gauge. And she has a to-do list gauge. Let's discuss each one of these. The action gauge. When Jane feels overwhelmed, then it would show overload on the action gauge. When Jane feels relaxed, then it would show low action on the action gauge. When Jane is motivated and in action, getting things done, then it would show high side action on the action gauge. This high side action is typically where we all want to be. It is not hard at work, but rather hard at play and fully in control of your actions. When you are responsible, then you become successful for the life games that you play. The condition indicator gauge. When the condition indicator is normal, then there is no change of action needed. The to-do list is being done, targets are being made, therefore the condition is normal. When the condition unstable is observed, then there needs to be change. Investigate to see why this is happening. Examine the to-do list, the targets, and action gauge is needed. Check if you are doing what you are supposed to do. If not, then correct it right now. When the condition crisis is occurring, then there needs to be urgent change. Examine the to-do list, the targets, and action gauge immediately. You are not responsibly running your life. You have let things slip for too long. Change must take place now. When the condition abundance is occurring, then you are managing yourself very well. Keep doing what you are doing. Find out why you are doing well. When the condition of mastery is occurring, then you are on top of your game. Keep doing what you are doing. The target gauges allow you to monitor the progress of any target. The first number is the completed tasks, and the second number is the total number of tasks in the target. Example, when you see that target 1 is 3-4, this means that 3 tasks are done out of 4, 1 task left to do. Target 2 is still at 1-3. This means that there are still another 2 tasks left to complete this target. It is very basic but simple way to dashboard what you are busy with regarding targets. Here is an example. Jane has created 2 targets. Target 1, clean the apartment, which is broken down into 4 tasks. Task 1, clean bedroom. Task 2, clean bathroom. Task 3, clean kitchen. Task 4, clean lounge. Target 2, service the delivery truck, divided into 3 tasks. Task 1, book truck for service. Task 2, take truck to service depot. Task 3, pick up truck and quality check service card. These are then displayed as Target 1, 0-4 and Target 2, 0-3. The 0 indicates that there has been no tasks completed yet. The to-do list gauge can be displayed as a graph or as a single number. It makes more sense to observe it on a graph because you can then see how many tasks you are doing each day. You can also see if you are being consistent or irregular in your tasks. If we look at the graph below, you can see that this person has started off in the beginning with a very low count of daily tasks, and then slowly grown into production. This allows the person to easily self-manage themselves based on this to-do list gauge. Let us end with an example showing all 4 gauges in use. Here we see Paul with his to-do list. He is completing above 20 tasks each day. In general, we see that he is mostly productive, with a drop just recently, see red arrow, However, he has recovered and is back into a growing production trend. His current condition is normal due to the fact that he has recovered the recent drop in statistics. He is running at just above normal on the action gauge, which is typical of high production. He is busy with 4 targets. Targets 1 and 2 are nearing completion. However, targets 3 and 4 still have many tasks to go. So this type of dashboard is then used by yourself for the following reasons. 1. Keep you on track and productive. 2. Keep you motivated by observing your positive progress. 3. The dashboard is used as a monitor to see if you are following a management system correctly. 4. Keep an eye on your stress level, but at the same time, keep you in action. To get more of an understanding, you need to watch the state and conditions video. This will give you more reality on how to manage your statistics and work closer with conditions. This video was only intended to get you familiar with using measurements to manage your productivity. If you found this information interesting and useful, then subscribe for more tools and ways to manage your life so that it stays successful and productive. Being productive is, of course, very beneficial because it makes you a successful person. It also self-motivates you. Here's to a productive and successful life. Regards, lots of healing.